Hey everyone, and welcome to another deep dive. Today we're taking a deep dive into your travel notes. You've got some really interesting ideas, and I think this is going to be a fun one.
Yeah, lots of little gems in here. Simple tips that can make a big difference. I'm excited to unpack these with you.
Okay, so you mentioned that when it comes to planning, it's important, but it can feel kind of overwhelming,
For
right?
sure,
Like,
yeah.
where do you even begin? But you also seem to understand that planning is kind of key to, uh, maximizing your budget.
Absolutely.
And in your research, you even had this note about budget apps like Trail Wallet,
Right?
Tripcoin. These are two that you had specifically mentioned.
Yeah, and those can be so helpful for people, especially if you're new to this whole budget travel thing. It's like having a financial roadmap for your trip, right?
Yeah. It's like having, a built-in accountability
Yeah,
buddy.
exactly.
So
Yeah.
you're not like at the end of your trip wondering where all your money went.
Yeah, no more of those like, oh my gosh, did I really spend that much on souvenirs?
Right. Or those panic moments of like, wait, how much have I spent?
No, these apps help you track everything so you can relax and actually enjoy your trip.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
And speaking of maximizing your budget, let's talk about flights because you had a great question in your notes about saving money on airfare.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
Right. And one thing that really jumped out at me from your research was this idea about um, being flexible with your airports.
Yes. Yeah.
And I thought, oh my gosh, this is brilliant. Tell us more about that. Why is this such a game changer?
Okay, so think about how airlines work, right? They have these big hub airports,
Right, right.
and they concentrate a lot of their flights there.
Yeah.
So flying into a smaller, less popular airport can sometimes be way cheaper, even if it means you might need to take a train or a bus to your final destination. It's like finding a hidden discount code.
It's a hidden discount code for adventure. I love it. Okay, now, I know you mentioned that you were a bit hesitant about hostels,
hmm
and, you prefer a bit more privacy,
Yeah, I totally get that.
but you also highlighted how much hostels have evolved.
They really have.
Some even offer private rooms these days.
Yeah, it's not just about those, those big dorm style rooms anymore.
Right, they've gotten a lot nicer.
Exactly. A lot of them are like boutique hotels now
Hmm.
with stylish common areas and even like rooftop bars.
Right. It's a far cry from that uh, maybe outdated image of what a hostel used to be.
Totally.
Now, speaking of hostels,
Yeah.
that brings us to another gem from your notes.
Okay.
And this is one of my personal favorites.
Let's hear it.
Eating like a local.
Yes. Yes. This is huge.
And you even mentioned wanting to take a cooking class
I did.
to really, like, immerse yourself in the local cuisine.
I love that idea.
Okay, so break it down for us. Why is eating like a local such a game changer for budget travelers?
All right. So, first of all, it's usually way cheaper than those fancy tourist traps.
Oh, yeah.
But more importantly, you're getting an authentic taste of the culture, right? Like those little hole-in-the-wall places.
Yes.
That's where the locals go. And they're often using fresh, local ingredients, traditional recipes. It's the real deal.
You mentioned a trip to Southeast Asia.
I did, yeah. That's top of my list.
This is where I think this tip about eating like a local is like essential because the street food scene there, incredible.
I've heard amazing things.
Okay, I'll never forget this one time I was in Thailand
Okay.
and I had the most amazing pad thai
I bet. I bet.
from this tiny little street food stall. It cost like next to nothing.
Wow.
The flavors were incredible and it just like added this whole other dimension to the experience.
And that's what it's all about, right? Like, it's not just about the food itself, it's about the whole experience.
It's about that immersion.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what we're really talking about here, right? Like maximizing those experiences while, staying within your budget. It's about prioritizing.
It's about, prioritizing what truly matters to you as a traveler.
Exactly. And it sounds like those authentic cultural experiences, those are high on your list.
They really are, yeah.
I love that.
Speaking of maximizing those experiences, you mentioned in your notes that you really want to, hit up all the must-see attractions without breaking the bank.
Right.
And you specifically asked about city passes.
Oh, yeah. City passes are a good one.
So it's like you knew we were going to talk about them. Break it down for us. How do they work?
Well, think of it like this. They bundle together all those popular attractions like museums, maybe a theme park, sometimes even public transportation.
Right.
So not only are you saving money on the individual ticket prices, but you're often skipping the lines too.
Oh, that's a good point. That's a huge time saver.
Huge. And time is precious, especially on vacation.
Absolutely. You mentioned something else really interesting in your notes about almost having to, like, postpone a trip because of flight prices.
Yeah, yeah.
And it reminded me of another, like, nugget of wisdom from your research, this whole thing about dynamic pricing.
Oh,
Can
yeah.
you talk a little bit about that?
Right. So airline prices, they're always changing, right? Based on demand, time of year, even the day of the week. So being flexible with your travel dates, that's like the golden rule of finding cheaper flights. Even just shifting your dates by a day or two can sometimes save you a lot.
It's like cracking the travel code.
Exactly.
And your research really emphasized using, online resources
Oh, for sure.
to your advantage. And I couldn't agree more. There's so many travel blogs, websites with free packing lists, budget templates, sample itineraries.
Tons of stuff.
Have you stumbled upon any of those yet?
I've actually found some amazing resources on Pinterest.
Oh, Pinterest, good one.
Yeah, for real. People share their travel budgets, their itineraries, packing lists, everything.
It's like having a whole team of travel mentors at your fingertips.
It really is.
Yeah.
And don't forget about those local tourism boards. They usually have websites with tons of information about free events, discounted attractions, all those hidden gems.
Yeah, that's a great point. Local tourism boards are a gold mine. Going back to your notes, you mentioned that for you, budget travel isn't about sacrificing experiences, it's about prioritizing them,
Exactly.
which I think is such a, powerful mindset shift.
It's not about, depriving yourself.
Yeah.
It's about figuring out what's truly important to you as a traveler and then allocating your budget accordingly.
So it's like custom designing your own travel adventure.
Ex-
Maybe you splurge on that cooking class in Thailand because you're passionate about food, right?
Yes.
Or maybe you go for a more modest accommodation so you can free up some funds for a once-in-a-lifetime scuba diving excursion.
Exactly. It's your trip, your budget, your way.
I love that. It's not about deprivation. It's about making conscious choices that align with what you truly value.
100%. And it sounds like you're already thinking this way based on your notes.
Yeah, I'm trying. I'm trying to be more mindful about those choices.
And that mindset, that's what's going to unlock those incredible, authentic experiences that you're looking for. Because when you're open to exploring a destination on your own terms, that's when the magic happens.
It's like you're choosing to write your own adventure story, right? Instead of just reading about someone else's.
Yeah. Exactly. You're not just checking off boxes. You're creating memories that really resonate with you. And honestly, those off the beaten path experiences, those often come without the hefty price tag.
Right. It's not always about the big tourist traps.
Exactly.
Which brings us back to that key point from your notes. Budget travel is about being strategic and open-minded.
For sure. For sure.
It was about knowing when to splurge on something that you value and when to find, a clever workaround.
Absolutely. And that's where the magic happens, right? It's like this sweet spot between having a plan, but also being open to, serendipity.
Because sometimes the best travel stories, they start with a detour,
Oh, totally.
a chance encounter,
Or a missed bus.
or a missed bus,
Those
exactly.
unplanned moments, right? They often turn into the best stories.
Totally. It's like the travel gods, they're rewarding you for being, flexible
Exactly.
and open to those new experiences. So for anyone listening who might be, dreaming of exploring the world,
Yeah.
but maybe feeling a little held back by, budget concerns, I think you really hit the nail on the head of your notes when you said that budget travel, it's not a compromise.
It's a mindset.
It's a mindset.
It's about approaching travel with this sense of adventure,
yes.
creativity, resourcefulness. It's realizing that some of the most enriching experiences, they don't have to cost a fortune.
They don't have to break the bank.
Yeah.
It's about discovering the world, but on your own terms, at your own pace, within your own budget. And I think based on your notes, based on your research, you're already well on your way
Oh, absolutely.
to becoming a master of budget travel.
You've got this. Remember, it's not about how much you spend. It's about how,
How richly you experience the journey.
There you go.
Beautifully said. So to wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you with this thought.
Okay.
Embrace the unexpected.
Love it.
Prioritize what truly matters to you.
Yes.
And never stop exploring.
Here.
Safe travels.